no respect for international law, when all people want is the rule of law, the capacity to live in safety, to be able to pursue their lives in safety, secure in their land, secure in their borders, secure in their work. The rule of law has been torn up internationally, and those who claim to live by it ignore it. So we need movements to defend the rule of law. But even beyond the international question, we have the environmental question. And we know that the environment is being wrecked before our eyes. And for once we have an end game. It used to be the case, I'm sure, when people would speak at left-wing meetings and we would imagine the time to come, and there would be a time when the working class would take power and organise a society that we could all live in peace and security. We can't look that far forward now. I mean, looking around, most of you will live through climate change when some of us old ones won't be here to suffer it. But the world you will inhabit and the world you will pass on to your kids is getting less and less safe and less sustainable. And if we don't get a progressive, radical socialist movement now, God knows if they'll have the chance again, because we're in an end game. We're in an end game now. So in a way that the urgency could not be greater. This has been an extraordinary meeting, and it shows us really how strong we can be. So many campaigns, so many organisations, so many people engaged in the struggle. If we were able to come together, there's no doubt we could win. In every city, in every town, there are campaigns for homeless people, for disabled people, for peace movements. Every injustice one can think of, there are people who care. And that's our strength, and that's what must bring us together. Just to deal with a really tricky question, because there are so many things we agree on, but we do have to ask the tough questions. And Christian Walmart spoke and asked, and I can see him at the back, and Christian writes very perceptively about transport, particularly railways, and we've spoken before on a project we did together. And I would say to Christian, he says, should he leave the Labour Party? Well, I'm really sorry, I have to say yes. Because we know the Labour Party will not change, it will not kick the privatised providers out of the health service, it will not change the priorities of big business. If we support the Labour Party, we'll have all this strength that we've talked about, we have all the strength through the trade unions, we have our contributions, we have everything we put into the unions, we see it given to people who will kill us. That's the problem. And there's no use in developing our great popular movement if we then give the political leadership to people who will not follow it through. And that's the problem. And I was very interested when Inigo said, we shall not unite the left. Well, that's really quite a brave thing to say. Because, of course, the thing we all want to hear is, yes, we will unite the left. That's what we all want to hear. But we also know that there are sections who will not unite. There are sections who will say, yes, I'll join the parade, providing I'm carrying the flag at the front. Well, we can't have that anymore. So we have to be in it together, and the door should be open to those who will be united as equals, with no one having to give up their prior position. Finally, I had something I was going to say finally. It's gone out. It's a senior moment, you see. A critical moment of the practice stage. But it's been brilliant to meet the people from PODEMOS. Internationally, that's what I was going to say. We have to work at the European level. And I hope out of this, that the movements who are in it together make certain that we have mechanisms to stay in touch, mechanisms to to develop policies and ideas that we can all unite behind on an international level, at a European level. Because we don't want to cease being Europeans. We want to be Europeans, but for a different kind of Europe. And that we have to develop together. So brilliant to be with you. Good luck, solidarity, you'll win. Cheers.